Welcome to Land of the Bible. I'm David Sussman, your personal tour guide here in the land of Israel. And in today's episode, we are going to explore Israel's national park at Masada. Last week on Land of the Bible, we began our journey through the archaeological ruins and the story of Masada. We met with the Director General of the National Park, Mr. Eitan Campbell, who has been working here since the age of 17 for the last 45 years and is fondly known as Mr. Masada. We took the cable car up to the top of the mountain and walked through its majestic gates. We learned about the history from the beginning of the Hashmonean period all the way through to the period of King Herod, who built the Masada that we think of today. We traveled south to the Arava Desert, to Kibbutz Ketorah, to discover how scientists have learned how to germinate ancient seeds that were found at the top of Masada, and how they brought back to life an ancient species of dates that was thought to have been extinct. We saw firsthand the opulence in which King Herod had built. We went into the bathhouse and discovered the frescoes as well as so much more. You know, it's phenomenal to me that there's so much water up here in Masada, but where did it come from?
Herod was a genius. He realized that to exist in the desert, you have to solve the first secret, which is water.
And how do you do it?
And he set up a collection system that was amazing, something uncomparative.
Can we see some of it?
We'll be able to see some of it on the way and realize that he had more water here at Masada than they had for the city of Jerusalem in those days.
Amazing. Let's go check it out. Wow, Eitan, this is some cistern. This is huge. Where did Herod find the water to fill this massive cavity up?
The genius Herod was able to collect every drop of water that fell in this area, including the rain that falls in the mountains to the west of us and comes down the rivers to the lowest place, which is the Dead Sea, and every drop was moved into these cisterns. This enabled him bathhouse, swimming pools, royal gardens, livestock. When you look at the top of the mountain, this was a man-made oasis in the middle of nothing.
This is unbelievable. So does enough water fall on top of Masada to fill all of these up?
David, this is one of 14. Some of them are larger than this one we're looking at.
My goodness.
And they were all full. If you look at the plaster, these are plastered.
Right, so this is ancient plaster. This is 2,000-year-old plaster we're looking at.
And it does, so the water does not disappear within the cracks. And then after it's plastered, you can even see the black water lines. These were full. You can see this is not fiction. This is the amount of water he had here at Masada.
Amazing, Eitan. Truly amazing. Should we continue?
I guess.
All right, great. Look at those water lines. That is incredible.
You know how they'd break the stone? They didn't have a jackhammer. If I gave you a job like this with a jackhammer today, you'd be hard put. They had to put wooden wedges in and drip water so the wood would expand and crack the stone.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
Eitan, this has all been great, but it wasn't Herod that made Masada famous. It was the rebel forces that came here who were fighting against Rome. Tell us about that story.
It comes from the soul. When Jerusalem was destroyed, the Jews had to run to someplace, and were being chased, and those who needed found a place of refuge here at Masada. And Jews from all different faiths and beliefs and sects. And in the end, you have 960 people here on top of Masada, men, women, and children. The Romans don't rush down here at the end of the temple, when the temple has been destroyed. Masada is at the edge of the Judean desert. They're left alone. Until, what we think today, the Jews of Masada saw the industry going on in En-Gedi, went down, destroyed this because this was feeding the pocket of the Romans, and this became the trigger that forced the 10th Roman Legion to converge on Masada.
So you're talking about the balsam trade in En-Gedi, and the taxes on that was funding the Roman Empire's conquest of the land of Judea.
Very good.
Wow.
And when they were hit in the pocket, the Romans, they had to act. And they sent the 10th Roman Legion, this is 6,000 to 8,000 professional legionnaires, to totally surround the mountain. They build 8 camps, and they conduct their siege.
That's one of the camps down there.
That is the camp of Flavius Silva, who was the commander of the 10th Roman Legion.
Wow.
And from there, he conducted the whole exercise.
This is incredible. You can literally see the Roman siege almost in like real time.
David, I'll be more accurate. This is the only place in the world where you can see a complete Roman siege still intact. Wow. This is one of the reasons for World Heritage status, which we received in 2001. The Romans have to build a ramp. How do they get up to the walls? And they build this incredible ramp up to the top of Masada. The Jews here on top see the direction of the ramp. They take all of the roofs off the buildings that are absolutely essential and pack the entrance point with dirt and with wood. They build this, they bring the same battering ram that went through the wall of Jerusalem, and they roll it up to the top.
They brought the same battering ram from Jerusalem to Masada.
Exactly.
Wow.
The biggest and the best. And they set it up outside the wall. And they began to hit at the wall, and the wall's not crumbling like a wall should, until they realize that there's wood inside. Wood is fire. Torches over the top, the wall goes up in flames, The wind changes, pushes the fire back onto the tower of the Romans.
Almost a miracle.
The Romans have to retreat and wait for all of this to burn down. This gave the Jews of Masada one last night to make their critical decision, determine their destiny. And they gather, and again, this has been now maybe 3 or 4 months of a siege. They've seen this coming. They know what's happening. They know, we have to realize all the people of Masada have seen the Romans in action. This is not a surprise. They know what's coming, and it will be bad. It will be terrible. And this is, and a lot of people miss this point, the evening of Passover. This is the date. On the evening of Passover, the same evening Jews celebrate their exit from slavery into freedom. They have to decide, do they go back to slavery or choose another course?
That is incredible.
And they set up a system, and they agree. Apparently it took 2 orations by Ben Yair to bring them to the situation, to understand their precarious position. And they decide that instead of falling back and going back into slavery and to relenting on their religion, that they preferred death rather than slavery.
And this meeting of the leaders of the community took place in the synagogue.
Very possibly in the synagogue, very possibly. But this is where the decision went down. And another point that we have to clarify. We regard Masada sometimes as a mass suicide. It was very carefully set up so that only one man in 960 commits the terrible act of suicide. I prefer to use self-sacrifice. This is the way it was done. Everyone that needed help dispatched their family. Those who needed help called for 10 men. There was a group of 10 that would help them do the deed. And then between the last 10, they drew lots. Very possibly, Professor Yadin believes that he found in one place here on the mountain 11 pieces of shard, ostrakon.
It's almost for certain that those are. It has the names on the pieces of pottery of those individuals.
It's the same hand, the same pen, and the names are descriptive. They're nicknames. Okay, if we go into free translation, the hunter, the one from the valley, the fat man, the bald one, the cook. And the only time that we find the name Ben Yair on this piece of shard,
himself,
who definitely would have been one of the last 10.
And that's the synagogue right down below.
Synagogue is right below us, and in the background, the commander of the 10th Roman Legion.
Wow, this is just an unbelievable story. Why do you think all of these people that we see here in Masada want to hear this story in particular?
I think people realize that this is something that goes between religions, between countries, this is our desire for freedom. Where is our red line in our personal liberty? We take it for granted sometimes. We fly, we come, we go. Tomorrow morning, I take this away. How do you feel? Can you imagine this? Can you imagine the depth of what it takes?
Well, I appreciate my freedom, and I definitely don't want to lose it. Are there any new excavations going on here?
Actually, just this past year, we have a new group of archaeologists, younger group. Professor Yadin wished that people from the future generations would be able to experience the excitement and thrill of excavating on Masada. And we've started in a couple of areas to look for some new things. We don't expect any real surprises, but at the same time, it might be there, and we're putting pieces together that help us understand everything.
Can we see some of the new excavations?
I'd be happy to, sure.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
David, I wanted to show you this because this is exemplary for first time in the last 50 years that we've opened up a new site to discover other possibilities. We have a new team up here, young kids that are excited beyond belief with the possibility of excavating here at Masada. We think we found a cistern. It's in progress. It'll take a couple of seasons before we fully get the picture, but you can see it's coming together. What we have is a carved out cistern and a Byzantine pool here on the side with a mosaic covering on the bottom.
Beautiful. Wow, that's incredible. So this is Byzantine over here, and this is most likely Herodian.
Right.
Is there anything else?
Let's go take a look.
All right, it'd be fantastic. Something amazing here at Masada is the fact that they have a scribe who is writing a Sefer Torah, which is the 5 books of Moses, in the same method and using the same types of tools that they would have used 2,000 years ago when those rebel fighters were up here at the top of Masada. And not only that, the location in which this gentleman is writing that Sefer Torah is also quite profound. Because when archaeologists were digging here at the top of Masada, right here where I'm standing, they discovered ancient biblical scrolls. And as they unraveled them and began to read from them, they realized that they were reading the dry bones prophecy from the book of Ezekiel, which Ezekiel understood that one day the Jewish people would return to the land of Israel. And here they were, Jews, Israelis, living in the land, discovering after 2,000 years the prophecy that ensured that they themselves would one day return to the land of the Bible.
David, we've come up to the Byzantine period, pretty much the last chapter of ancient Masada. We have here a church. There was a small group of monks that lived here on top of Masada, very secluded, very quiet. They didn't do too much. They didn't move too many stones around. But they were here actually for the longest amount of time. They were here for about 150 years, all told.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing in that aspect.
How did they live?
Very humbly. We know a story that they had a donkey that would go down to the Dead Sea where there was a monk growing tomatoes on the shores of the Dead Sea. He would pack the donkey, and the donkey knew how to climb back up the snake path, and this was his daily routine. Very interesting story. But very meagerly, they didn't eat a lot, and very simple kind of life. We know this is a church. We have the window facing off to the east, and the apse.
Right, a half circle here.
Beautiful mosaic floor off to the side here.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
And pretty amazing existence that they had here on the top. And that ended. After this chapter, we go into modern day Israel. In the 1940s, the first expedition to climb up. And Masada becomes, in a way, a battle cry, okay, of reuniting. Masada shall not fall again. And this is what we're trying to convey.
Well, you know, this has been incredible, and you have such a body of work here as the director of the National Park and literally working here for the last 45 years.
It's been a pleasure. But remember, Masada was here 2000 before, and it'll be here for 2000 after. So we had a window of opportunity to give our chapter.
Well, you made the most of it, that's for sure. Should we head down the mountain then?
Thank you, David. Yeah, let's head on down.
Okay.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
Eitan, this has been an amazing experience, hearing your insights and learning about the story of Masada.
David, I want to thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your efforts. And I hope the story gets out to a lot of viewers that will find an interest and want to come back and visit, because there's nothing like seeing it live.
Well, thank you, Eitan. Stay tuned as we continue learning more about Masada. In addition to the ruins at the top of the mountain, Masada also offers an amazing visitor center. On the upper floor, on the way to the cable car, there are several display cases featuring some of the ruins and artifacts that were discovered by archaeologists right here at Masada. There's also a multimedia presentation, giving the visitor an understanding of the story of Masada from beginning to end. Down below, there's a large gift shop, as well as a food court featuring a variety of restaurants. Or you can bring your own food and dine inside or on their outdoor patio. However, that's not all that's here at Masada. There's also a comprehensive museum that displays some of the more exquisite relics that were discovered at the top of the mountain. And it spans the entire history of Masada, from the days of King Herod all the way through the Byzantine period. You'll see huge pots that were filled with goods that were imported from around the world, because King Herod liked to enjoy the good life. Beautiful frescoes that were from King Herod's lower palace, as well as mosaics. There is also on display beautiful articles of clothing that include a sandal that belonged to one of the rebels at the top of Masada, or a prayer shawl known as a talit, with its vibrant colors still showing from the ancient dye. The climax of the museum are the lots that were used by the rebel forces to determine who would make the final self-sacrifice. Join us next time on Land of the Bible as we explore the Christian sites in the holy city of Jerusalem. What a privilege it's been touring around Masada with Eitan Campbell, the director of the National Park here, and hearing all of his wonderful insights to the place. Thank you for watching Land of the Bible. And remember, I'm David Sussman, your personal tour guide here in the land of Israel. Make sure to join us next time as we connect you to the people, places, and land of the Bible.